Hi, folks. Aaron here, Wisconsin Family podcast on a Wednesday. Brian Gutekunst, Goody, had his, whatever you want to call this, season-ending press conference, extension announcement press conference, whatever it was. We'll get to in a second because, folks, it was packed full of lies. It was packed full of lies, and it was packed full of evidently Goody thinking that you, me, and everyone else who is listening is stupid. We'll get to it in a second. You can get a hold of the show if you want to. Follow along on Twitter at Wisconsin_fam. That is at Wisconsin_FAM. TikTok, search for Wisconsin_family. And then on YouTube, you can always find us there. It's where the podcast is housed. It is youtube.com/at Wisconsin Family 1. Okay, there were so many outlandish, in your face, ridiculous lies out of the mouth of Brian Gutekunst today. I don't even know where to begin. We can pick one at random, but before I even start this process, it should be known that to this point, I've always been a Goody supporter. I've always said that if you line up Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst next to each other and say, okay, who is better at their respective job? Every single time, I say Goody. I've always been a Goody supporter. I can't do it after today. It was so outlandish, so ridiculous in the things that he said and what he said them about that right now I like, and people who know me know I don't like LaFleur. Right now I feel better about LaFleur than I do about Goody. Certainly better about LaFleur than I feel about Ed Policy, who gave these guys the extensions. So I was really frustrated over the last several months of the season, really since the second half of the Denver game, right, where Parsons got hurt. I was frustrated at how the season ended, the 5-game losing streak, the blowing games in the fourth quarter multiple times against the Bears, including in the playoffs. I was frustrated that Matt LaFleur got an extension. I wasn't frustrated that Goody got one, by the way. So I was frustrated. I was never angry until today, until Goody's presser. It's the first time that I've been angry. And again, just going to touch through a few things that he said and give a reaction to it. Okay? I need to. It really doesn't even matter where you start. Really doesn't even matter where you start because there were a lot of ridiculous lies. Let's start with this. Matt Schneidman on X was at Goody's presser, obviously. Says Brian Gutekunst says he's emphasized special teams from a personnel standpoint more in the last 4 or 5 seasons and has seen the payoff. Expresses his faith in Rich Bisaccia too. That is the most ludicrous thing I have ever heard in my life. First off, Goody emphasized that special teams has had, they've put more emphasis on it from a personnel standpoint the last 4 or 5 seasons. Folks, that is a lie. That's a lie. Who? Keyshawn Nixon? Which, tell me this. Number one, again, it is a lie. That is a flat-out, bold-faced lie. They have not, from a personnel standpoint, put a ton of resources in the special teams. Explain to me this, Goody. If you put all those resources in the special teams, and it's obviously paying great dividends, why was Josh Jacobs in a playoff game against the Bears, taking his first ever reps at returning kickoffs? I don't know. You can't answer, Goody, because you lied. You lied. And you also lied about the fact that it's paying off. That's lunacy, folks. Have you seen the special teams? Now, and here's one of the things. One of the only, really the only argument, if it wanted to be made, to bring Rich Bisaccia back was the fact that, well, it's an organizational problem. The Packers don't put emphasis on special teams. That's why you can go through, however many special teams coordinators the Packers have had over the last 15 years, and it doesn't matter. It all stays the same. It all looks the same because as an organization, the Packers don't put emphasis on special teams. That's the only reason that you could make an argument to bring Rich Bisaccia back. So if you're Gudian, which again is a lie, but let's pretend he was telling the truth. Say it wasn't a lie. And he has been investing into special teams. Then how can you possibly turn around and say that Rich Bisaccia is doing a good job and you have faith in him? It can't be both ways. Either the Packers are not investing in special teams, which they're not, or Bisaccia is not good. It can't be both. Then what's going wrong? Why does the special teams suck year after year? Explain it to me. You can't. Because neither one is true. Bisaccia is not any good. The special teams have not been given resources. Goody has not poured resources into the special teams. Lies. And really insulting to Packer fans and to the media members sitting there, to anyone with a pair of eyes that looks at this team and says, you know what? Well, Goody's out here telling you, special teams is good. Nothing to see here. Special teams is actually good. You're one guy that you really did put some resources. I mean, what? He got a kicker? I got news for you, man. Every NFL team needs a kicker. Every NFL team gets a kicker. You're not doing anything great. You're not doing anything out of the ordinary. So, you're one guy, Keyshawn Nixon. That was your investment in the special teams like 3 or 4 years ago. Which leads to the next thing. Leads to the next thing. Speaking of Keyshawn Nixon, cornerback 1. All right. I can't get to Gary yet. We'll get to his thoughts, Goody's thoughts on Rashawn Gary. So, Keyshawn Nixon, cornerback 1. Goody thought that he had a really good year. Really? Was it the really good year where he bailed out in the playoffs against the Bears with the game on the line? With the guy running into the end zone, he just sidestepped him? Was that part of the good year? Was the fact that everyone with a half a brain can look at this secondary and know that they're awful and know that Nixon isn't good enough? And Nixon had a really good year. Another lie. He did not have a really good year. Speaking of secondary, you ready for the next lie? The next opposite day statement that Goody made today? Speaking of cornerbacks. He said that Nate Hobbs, so he's trying to defend his awful free agent signing, which was Nate Hobbs, who, by the way, remember when Hobbs first was signed? It was while the Packers were in the process of moving on from Jair Alexander. And one of the big talking points was, okay, you're bringing in Hobbs to essentially replace Alexander in some way, shape, or form. And the problem with Alexander is that he's always hurt. He's never available. But Nate Hobbs is always hurt, and he's never available. So why are we replacing one injured player for another? That was the question. So everyone knew coming into this year, and when the Packers signed Hobbs, everyone knew that he has injury problems, that his entire career he's been injury prone. Goody said that Nate Hobbs, I'm paraphrasing, he essentially said that, Hobbs didn't have a great season, but he was injured, and So he really never got his feet under him. He never really took off the way they expected him to because he was hurt. And then he said, I gotta find it. I don't know if it was the quote or if it again was somebody that just was reporting on what they said. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through here. Okay. So this was from Andy Herman on X. He said, talking about the free agents that Goody had signed, said Brian thought Aaron Banks really played well at the end of the year once he got healthy. Said the injuries to Hobbs and Banks were unexpected. Says no final decisions, but expects both back. Really? The injury to Hobbs was unexpected? Now, you don't really ever expect an injury. Like, you don't expect Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons to tear their ACL. So you never expect an injury. Duh. Fine. But if there was anyone on this entire roster that you would expect to get injured, it would have been Nate Hobbs, the guy who's always injured. Am I missing something here? Goody, opposite day. Ridiculous. Oh, Nate Hobbs got hurt. It was a shock to us all. Really? Pathetic. You know, Goody talks to all the fans and all the media like we're the stupid ones, but you know who looks like the jackass? You know who looks like the really dumbbell? Goody. That's who. For saying such outlandishly stupid things. Oh, let's finish up on the cornerback room here real quick while we're at it. So we talked about Keyshawn Nixon. Hit a real good year. Real good year. And Hobbs, man, could have never seen the injury coming. Wow. So, one last thing on the secondary. Let me pull that one up. Yeah. Zach Cruz on Twitter. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst on the cornerback position. Quote, do we need wholesale changes? No. Run it back. It's really almost impossible to believe that this is the same Goody that last year said that we need to start playing for Super Bowls and have more of a sense of urgency. Because I don't know. Well, I do know what happened to that guy. That guy got an extension for being mediocre, and now he's comfortable. Now he's good. No worries for him. He got extended. That's the difference between him last year and this year. Now everything is good, and settle in for mediocrity, everyone. Settle in for mediocrity. Like I said, I was frustrated with the Packers and the way that the season ended, but I wasn't pissed until Goody had his presser today. Now, the do I even dare? Ryan Wood on X. Brian Gutekunst on Rashawn Gary. Quote, I thought he started out really strong. Obviously, had a lot of production early. I think he ended up with 60-some pressures and 7.5 sacks. That's pretty good production in the NFL. Notes it was not a strong finish for Gary, though. Huh. You guys see, from the Pro Bowl, you guys see Micah Parsons tooling around on his mobility scooter? Because, you know, he's got a blown out knee. Micah Parsons moves around faster on that damn mobility scooter than Rashawn Gary did in the second half of that season. So, these are just some highlights. What happened to the Goody from last year? He got extended after being mediocre. That's what happened. What do you think is tolerated now in Green Bay? Do you have to be great? Do you have to win a title? Do you have to be above average? No, it'd be 500. You can hit on like 1, maybe 2 first-round draft picks your entire time there as a GM. You can sign some really horrid free agents like this last offseason. You can win some games, but not be real good. Just be 500. And what does that get you? That gets you an extension. If you're Goody, if you're LaFleur, if you're Russ Ball. So that is the standard. That is the standard in Green Bay, Wisconsin with the Green Bay Packers. The standard is mediocrity. The standard is just don't suck too much. You've got Ed Policy on the top, who extended Russ Ball, and he extended Brian Gutekunst, and he extended Matt LaFleur. All 4 of those guys are in a revolving door together. And they all have each other to lean on, to be mediocre with, and reward each other along the way for it. And that all starts with policy. And they are in a place right now where the 4 most powerful men in the Packer organization are happy with being mediocre and reward each other for being mediocre. And it adds a great level of comfort to them. They like to be comfortable. And comfortable they are. Nobody's going to fire anyone. They're still going to make money. And they can all rest easy at night. LaFleur, you don't got to worry. You're not going anywhere. Goody, you don't have a first-round pick this year. You really don't have to hit on any of your picks. You're not going anywhere. It's all right, all good. We're going to go out to Kohler. We're going to get a drink. It's okay. It's okay. We don't have to win Super Bowls. While we're at it, we'll talk to the fans like they're dumb. Like, we'll tell the fans that we've been so invested in the special teams, and obviously it's paying dividends because they think you're that stupid and they're that comfortable. It's only going to be a matter of time before Micah Parsons within that organization is perceived as a problem. And let me tell you, it's not going to be a Parsons problem. It's a Packer problem. Mike Daniels, a week or 2 ago, he was talking about how all these guys who he knows were just killers got drafted by Green Bay, and within a couple of years, they're softened up. And that shows on the field, by the way. So they change a lot of guys. You're not going to change Parsons. And Parsons already has a history of calling guys out when he needs to. And it's only going to be a matter of time because Parsons ain't going to change, folks. No more than Reggie White would have changed. He's not going to change. He wants to win. Micah Parsons, part of the reason that he is so great, part of the reason that he is the greatest, and it's something that all greats have in common, is that they're not interested in being comfortable. They're interested in being pushed. Nobody's going to be pushing Parsons. He's not going to get comfortable. And when he sees the top brass in the Packer organization becoming comfortable, like they are, and how that trickles down from the president to the position coaches that coach Parsons and all his teammates, that's not going to sit well with him. And it's going to be a problem. And it's not going to be a Parsons problem. I'm just getting out in front of this right now. So when people come out and try to spin it to suck up to the Packers, when Parsons starts calling people out and doing the whole thing, when that happens and people in the media start coming out and saying things like, well, Parsons has a history of doing this and calling people out. Well, I'm telling you right now, it's not on Parsons. It's the Packers, and Parsons is in the right to do it. All right? So, hey, that's it. I got one Bucks note for you, okay? That's it. I got one Bucks note, and then, I don't know. I liked Goody. I really did. But today was so dumb. It was so over the top that I can't take it. One Bucks note, really quick, and this is it. One Bucks note. Giannis came out. He had a couple of exclusive interviews with Eric Name and Jim Orzowski. But he said all the right things, and that's what he's been doing. But at this point, I'm fatigued out on the whole Giannis thing. He's playing war games. He's saying things like, if I had it my way, I would be a Milwaukee Buck for life. Stuff like that. Well, okay. It's a word game. It's very similar to what Aaron Rodgers did at the end. Yes, if I had it my way, I would be a Buck my entire life. Well, okay, fine. If I had it my way, I'd have more money than Elon Musk. What are we doing here? It's not relevant. I'm fatigued out by the entire Giannis thing. I don't know if he's going to be moved before the deadline or during the offseason, but we will see. All right, I appreciate it. I hope I was able to let off some steam and give you a voice as well for how you're feeling after Goody's press conference today. I hope that that's what happened. If not, appreciate you listening to me rant and rave, because if you didn't have to get it off my chest, I sure as hell did, because that pissed me off. That pissed me off. Really did. Again, follow along on X at Wisconsin_fam. YouTube.com/at WisconsinFamily1. And you can email us, Gmail, WisconsinFamily1@gmail.com. And then TikTok, search for Wisconsin_family. So that is it here on a Wednesday. So we'll talk more tomorrow. Things will be slightly settled down by then. Maybe not. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.